Hello everyone, welcome to Level Chain channel. My name is Claudio Fonseca. Today I'm going to talk about low height calls. I'm talking about all the options and configurations that we have for the 737 from Pmdg for the Microsoft Flight Simulator, and because of that I create a document. You can download this document through the video description right below, and I call this document as Pmdg 737 options video list. So here you will find all the videos based on the options that you have on the Pmdg, and today we are going to talk about low height calls, which I consider the calls from 400 feet to the 10 feet call. Okay, if you are looking for example, for a 1000 feet call, this was on the video called high height calls, and you can use this document to get instant access to this video. Just use the link that you find on the rectangles, on the green rectangles on the right. So for this video, we go on our 737, and then when we go on the CDU menu, Pmdg setup, aircraft equipment, and then on the page number 5, EGPWS2, those options, they start. I already talked about the call 2500, the call 1000, and the call 500 because they have 3 options, but all the calls from the call 400, call 300, call 200, call 100, call 50, call 40, call 30, call 20, and call 10, all of them, they only have 2 options, and the options, they are on or off. That means that the airplane will call these altitudes, these radio altitudes, when this option is on, and it will not make the call when those options are off. For example, we are now at 1120 and 10 feet radio altimeter. So in this case, when it reaches 400 feet, if we keep the call 400 off, you will not hear anything. If you keep them on, you will hear 400. The same thing for the 300. With off, you will not hear 300. With them on, you will hear 300 when the radio altimeter reaches 300 feet. It always happens, yes or no. The same thing for the call 200, 150, 40. I'm going to make them on, as well as I have the 20 and 10. Usually most of the airlines, they don't use the call 400, they don't use the call 300. Okay, some of them they use the 200, some of them not, but some of them they also don't use the 40, because when you start the flare, the 50 feet will give you a good auto warning when you are crossing the threshold. The 30 feet will give you that wake up call to start the flare, and then you have the 20 and 10 feet calls for you to dose your flare. But the 40 doesn't really say much to the pilot, so most of airlines, they keep the 40 call as off, okay, as well as the 300 and the 400, because they do not say much to the pilots. The 500, yes. The 200 is something really close to the minimums on an ILS. It will depend, of course, on the terrain before the runway, and then below that, all of them are important apart from the 40. But just for demonstration today, I'm going to keep all of them on, so you will be able to hear all of them as we continue on this approach. Of course, I'm already keeping the 1500 as yes, as the previous video, so you are going to hear them as well. Okay, so I'm going to give you the simulator audio from now on, and you will be able to listen to those calls. Very simple. If you don't want them, just keep them off, and I do recommend that you keep at least 400, 300 and the 40 to off because they don't really tell much to the pilots. So in this case, I'm going to release the sim, and I'm going to arm the approach and the second autopilot, so we have an automatic landing and we can hear those calls. It will start with the 1000.
1000.
Here we go. 500 as the previous video. And I will keep it like this so you can really follow the radio altimeter here, and you will see that it always follows the radio altimeter. 400, 300, 200, 100, 50, 40, 30, 20 and 10. Here we go for the 500.
500.
Now 400.
400.
Now 300.
300.
Next one is 200.
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, so those were the calls that we have for the EGPWS. I call them low altitude calls because for the 2500, 1500 you have that option for smart. If you don't know what it means smart, you can go to the next or to the previous video and look for it. Was not a very successful stopping. I didn't use the reverser, but the importance for this video was to understand and listen to the calls that we have. So I'm going to disable the 400, I'm going to disable the 300, I'm going to disable the 400, 40 feet, and those are the calls that I do not want. So from now on, it's up to you to decide which calls do you want for your approach. I may say that having all of them, it makes interesting, but like for example the 40 call, it doesn't really tell much. So the 50, it's a very very good cross check of your threshold crossing height, then the 30 feet for your flare, and the 20 and the 10 for you to dose your flare if they are coming too fast. If those calls are coming too fast, it's because you are not flaring enough. If the calls they are really slow, it's because you are flaring too much. You have to keep going down towards the runway. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share with your friends, leave your comments below, and I see you next time. Bye bye.